Well, this is the part 2 and the last part on electric potential and electric potential energy. Hi everyone, this is Shankhu Subroy Karmakar and welcome to my channel, that is Reverberation Guidelines. So here we go. Now we are trying to establish that the electric potential is completely a path independent factor. That is, in a certain electric field, if we consider two successive points of two different potentials and we transmit a particular positive unit isolated charge throughout any pathway that is possible, it will never be a factor on the total amount of work done to propagate the point charge from one point to another. Clear? To establish that certain condition, we are thinking for an image where a Q charge is placed in this point, and we are thinking for two different points, one A that is at RA path away from the Q charge and another point is RB distance away from Q charge, and that has been termed as B point. So from Q charge, A point is at RA distance away and B point is at RB distance away. Clear? Now we are thinking for different potentials of A and B. Imagine A point has the potential of VA and B point has the potential of VB. So if we try to move a point charge from A to B, then we may follow any pathway that is possible. Imagine that we are trying to follow this pathway, and where a certain point P is placed over here. So to move a test charge from A to B point, we are thinking for APB pathway. Now, as the potential of A is VA and B as VB, then drop of potential will be VB minus VA. That is evident. Now think that the P point is at a distance away from the Q charge. So imagine P point is at R distance away from Q. So electric field intensity at P will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square. Clear? Which will have the direction in this way, right? Now we have learned earlier that the amount of drop of potential, that is VB minus VA, is nothing but the minus of line integral over E dot dl. Clear? Now If we try to measure the total pathway from A to B, then we need to follow the integration from RA to RB. Clear? Now, at P point, the direction of the movement will be denoted by this. So, imagine at P point, the displacement vector del L is making an angle of theta with the electric field intensity. Clear? So, if it has a component in electric field intensity as dr and this total angle is going to be termed by theta, then we can write dr is nothing but the dl cos of theta, because dl has the component in this direction and that will be measured with the help of cos. Now we are trying to evaluate the total value, that is Vv minus Va has been expressed as minus of E dot dl integrating from Ra to Rb. So as this is the dot product, so we can write this is minus of integration E into dl into cos of theta, where the lower limit is Ra and the upper limit is Rb. Now, evaluate the total equation very carefully. We can write this is Vv minus Va and this is the integration running from Ra to Rb, where E is nothing but Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into R square, and del L cos theta, the total term is going to be expressed as dr. Clear? Now, watch very carefully. We are taking out the constants, that is minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught is moving out, and the rest part can be written as r to the power minus 2 of dr, where the lower limit is Ra and upper limit is Rb. Now if we follow the processes of integration, then this will be minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught, that is a constant, and this can be written as r to the power minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1, and the limits are moving from Ra to Rb. So, taking out the common of minus, this can be written as q by 4 pi epsilon naught, and this is going to be expressed by 1 by r, lower limit Ra and upper limit Rb. This is nothing but Vb minus Va. Now we are implementing the upper limit minus lower limit factor. So if we implement the upper limit minus lower limit factor, this will look like q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by Rb minus 1 by Ra, and this is the total amount of work done to bring a positive unit isolated charge from A to B point, which is completely a path independent factor, because the Ra and Rb is nothing but the distances from Q point charge and only depends on that certain condition, but it does not depend on the pathway it has been followed to propagate from A to B. Clear? Now we are trying to find out the amount of work done when we try to propagate a point charge from one to another, where both of the points are placed on an equipotential surface. Then we need to imagine for two different points. Imagine this is A and this is B. We are thinking the potential of A, let be VA, and the potential of B, let be VB. So, the drop of potential between 2 points will be VB minus VA, when we try to transmit the point charge from A to B. Clear? But we told that A and B both are placed on the equipotential surface. So we can write VV minus VA, that will be minus of E dot dl, but this will be nothing but the work done, that is VV minus VV. As we know, VV and VA both are placed on a equipotential region, so VV and VA both has the same potential, so we can write W equal to 0, and this is nothing but minus of E dot dl. So for two particular points placed on an equipotential surface, the total amount of work done will be 0 if we transmit the point charges following any of the pathways. Now we will establish that in an equipotential surface, the electric fields is always perpendicular. Clear? Right. To establish it, we will follow some basic properties in a different way. And trust me, this is complicated, bit complicated. Right. Imagine that we have 2 points, that is A and B. So, let the potential of A be VA and the potential of B be VB. Clear? So, if we try to transmit a unit charge or a test charge from A to B, then the amount of work done will be nothing but the potential drop, that is VB minus VA. Clear? Now think for a while. Whenever we are transmitting a point charge from A to B, we need to perform that certain amount of work done. But we know VB minus VA is nothing but the integration of minus of E dot dl. We have learned it earlier. Now, as this is the dot product, so we can write VB minus VA is nothing but minus of E into dl into cos of theta. Clear? Now, we have learned earlier that electric field intensity, that is E, is nothing but the force per unit charge. So this will be F by Q. Now if we replace the value of E with the help of F by Q, then the total term can be written as VV minus VA. This will be minus of E into dl into cos of theta, and it will look like F by Q dl cos of theta, that is VV minus VA. Now if we imagine that A and B are placed on an equipotential surface, then VA must be equal with VV. So we can write VV minus VA as 0. So finally this will be minus of F by Q into dl into cos of theta, that must be 0. So as force or the displacement or the Q charge cannot be 0, so cos theta is going to be termed by 0, and we know cos theta equal to 0, that means theta equal to 90 degree. Now imagine very carefully. This signifies that the displacement of that particular point charge occurs in the direction of 90 degree from where it is getting the force, and we know the force is nothing but the electric field that is going to be applied on that point charge, and the particle has been propagated at an angle of 90 degree where the force has been applied. As a result, the total work has been 0 work. This signifies that the electric field intensity is always perpendicular in an equipotential surface. Clear? Now imagine a spherical cell that is hollow in nature, and we are applying Q charge on its surface, and we will try to find out the potential in 3 different points. One A, another B, and another C, where 3 points are placed in 3 different points, where A is outside of the spherical cell, B is on the surface of the spherical cell, and C is inside the spherical cell. And whenever we are applying a Q charge, then this Q amount of charge will be equally distributed in the upper surface of the spherical cell, because we know same type of charge repel each other, and we are thinking for the center. Imagine the center of the shell be at O, right? So we will try to find out the electric potential in 3 different points. Now imagine the radius of the shell BR, so that is nothing but OB equal to R. Clear? Now we can easily state, if the distance of A from the center be capital R, then the potential of A will be V of A, that is going to be defined by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by capital R. In the same way, we can imagine the potential of B point, which is smaller distance from center will be Vv equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by smaller. But whenever we are trying to find out the potential at C, it will be complicated. Imagine the C point is at r dash distance from center, and we can easily write that r dash is genuinely less than the radius of the cell. So, to find the electric potential at C, we will imagine the concept of electric field intensity. Right? Imagine the electric field intensity at C was 0. Right? As a result, if we consider another point over here, that is C dash, then if we try to propagate a point charge from C to C dash, the amount of work done will be again 0. Now, if we try to transmit a point charge from C to C dash, then amount of work done will be Vc minus Vc dash is nothing but integration of E dot dl, and we know the electric field intensity inside the sphere will be 0, so this will be 0. So we can write that the potential of Vc must be equal with Vc dash, and think about the concept. So throughout any points that is placed over here, if we try to transmit the point charge from C to anywhere, the point placed up to the B will be always 0. So we can write the Vc and Vv are equipotential. That is, Vc will be none other than 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r. That is the amount of potential inside the hollow spherical surface. Now, if we are asked to plot a graph on electric potential versus the distance from the center, then we are thinking this is the distance from center, and in this direction the electric potential. So inside the hollow spherical surface, the potential is equal with the Vv, that is Vv must be equal with Vc. So up to the surface, the potential on each point will be same. So imagine this is the C point and this is the B point placed at the top of the spherical surface. So this distance can be measured by smaller, that is the radius of the spherical surface, and if we imagine that A point is away from the spherical surface, then the potential will be dropped and this graph will be denoted in this way. Clear? But up to the surface of the spherical surface, total electric potential in each point will be same, and those will have the maximum value. Clear? We know electric potential is nothing but a scalar quantity. So the addition of electric potential will follow the algebraic rule. So if we have two charges, that is Q1 and Q2, and if we start thinking for a particular point of A, then to find the electric potential at A, we need to find out the potential generated due to the Q1 charge and due to the Q2 charge. So, the potential at A due to Q1 will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R1, and due to Q2 that will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 by R2. So, total potential at A will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R1 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 by R2. Clear? And now if we think for two different charges, that is, if we imagine for a point which is at R1 distance from Q1 and minus Q2 charge from B point which is at R2 distance from minus Q2 charge, then the potential of A will be the potential generated due to the Q1, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R1, and again the potential generated due to the minus Q charge, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into minus Q2 by R2. So if we simplify this, this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R1 minus Q2 by R2, and that's all. Now, it is a very interesting topic that is going to be discussed right now. We are now interested to find out the electric potential at a certain point on the axis from a electric dipole. Basically, this looks like this, where a dipole is nothing but a system made by two equal amount but opposite charges, that is minus Q and plus Q, and we know that we have imagined the 2 point charges are placed at a distance of 2L. Now, if we consider for the axis, then axis will be denoted in this way, and imagine there are 2 points where minus Q has been placed, that has been termed by A, and where plus Q has been placed, that has been termed by B. And we are thinking for the C point which is at X distance from the midpoint of the dipole. Clear? So, the effective length of the dipole be 2L. At A, the minus Q charge has been placed, and at B the plus Q charge has been placed. Clear? And D is the midpoint of the dipole. Sure? So we can write AD equal to dB is nothing but L, because we have imagined the total effective length of the dipole is 2L. Now we have imagined the C point is placed on the axis right? And this C point has the distance of x from the midpoint of the dipole. Clear? So we can write DC equal to x. Now from A point, the distance of C, that is AC, is nothing but AD plus DC. That can be written as L plus X. Clear? Because we know AD is nothing but L. And from B point, the distance of C point, that is nothing but BC, and that can be written as DC minus DB. That will be X minus L. And the thing which we need to know, that is the electric dipole moment. Is nothing but P, that has been written as 2L into Q, that is the effective length between two charges and any one of the charges, that is 2QL, right? Now we are moving forward. The potential at C due to minus Q charge placed at A will be VAC, that can be written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into minus Q by total distance, that is AC, and AC has been denoted by X plus L, and the potential at B and the potential at C due to plus Q charge placed at B will be VBC, that is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into plus Q by X minus L. So to find the total potential at C, we just add up the two things. So total potential at C, this will be VC. This is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into minus Q by X plus A plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by X minus L. Now we are going to take the common parts in outward and writing this part in front, that is 1 by X minus L, and this will be minus 1 by X plus L. Now if we go for the LCM, then this will be Q by 4 pi epsilon naught, and this is nothing but X minus L into X plus L will be the LCM, and in the upper part this will be X plus L minus within bracket X minus L. So if we carry forward the equation, then this will be VC is nothing but Q by 4 pi epsilon naught, that will be 2L by X square minus L square, and this can be written as 2QL by 4 pi epsilon naught into X square minus L square, right? Now think about the point. We know the dipole moment P can be written as 2QL, so this can be written as P by 4 pi epsilon naught into X square, where we are thinking that X is far greater than L. As a result, X squared is far greater than L squared. So X squared minus L squared can be written as X squared, and this is the amount of electric potential at a certain point placed on the axis from the electric dipole. Clear? The last part of the previous clip was not clearly seen. That's why this part is going to be joined with it, and I am going to explain it again. 2ql is nothing but the electric dipole moment, and remember the x distance is far greater than that of the half length of the electric dipole. That's why we can write x is far greater than L. As a result, x square will be far greater than L square. So we can easily deny the L square part with respect to the x square. So x square minus L square can be easily written as x square. That's why we have implemented the last part in this way. Clear? The last part which is going to be discussed right now is nothing but the electric potential energy. So electric potential energy is the amount of work done to bring one or more than one charges from infinity to a certain distance on an electric field. That is, we are now not interested to bring a positive unit isolated charge. What we are interested that we will bring a standard amount of charge or more than one charges from infinity to a certain point on an electric field. That is, we are propagating several amount of charges. Imagine that we have a Q charge initially, and this is creating an electric field at A will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square. Clear? We also know that the potential at A is one by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R due to the presence of Q charge. Now, if we try to bring an amount of charge of Q2 from infinity to a point that is at R distance from the basic charge, that is Q, then the amount of work done will be W equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R, that is the potential generated due to the Q charge and the amount of charge that has been brought from the infinity. That will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 by R, and this will be the total potential energy of that particular system. Clear? When the system is going to be made by two charges, that is Q, and another charge, that is Q2, has been brought from infinity to that particular point, and they have been placed at a distance of R. Remember, this equation can be calculated using the calculus. This is not a big deal. We have already known to calculate the electrical potential. So we can easily define the electrical potential energy using that same process. Just we will apply the amount of work done, that is W equal to Q into del V. Then we will follow the integration formula for potential. Clear? Now we are trying to establish the equation for the total potential energy of a system made by more than two charges. That is, we are thinking a system where more than two charges, imagine three charges are placed, and we are trying to establish the total potential energy of that particular system. And for the particular issue, we are thinking the system is completely isolated. Imagine this is a three-dimensional configuration. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. Basically, the x plane is going to be explained in this direction, y in this direction, and z that is perpendicular outward from the board. Clear? We are initially targeting to bring a q1 charge from infinity. So, initially we have brought q1 charge from infinity. And as this is the isolated system, so the initial potential was 0, and we know the potential of infinity is also 0. Clear? So to bring the q1 charge from infinity to this a point, which is nothing but an isolated system, there will be no requirement for performing work. So work done, that is W1 must be 0. Now, whenever we have placed the q1 charge, it will create an electric field intensity at a certain distance. So now we are thinking for B point, and now we are targeting to bring a q2 charge from infinity to B point, which is at R1 distance from q1. But for the q2 charge, if we try to bring it from infinity to B point, which is at R1 path away from q1, the work done will be the potential of B point due to the q1 charge and the amount of q2. So this will be nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 by r1, and this will be nothing but the potential energy of the system right now. We are again trying to bring another charge, that is q3, and that has been placed over here. So whenever we are trying to bring the q3 charge, first we need to consider the potential of C point. So now think the potential of C point will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 by r2. We are thinking that from A point, the C point is at a distance of r2, and from B point, the C point is at a distance of r3. So this will be the potential generated due to the q1 charge and the potential generated due to the q2 charge, right? Now to bring the Q3 charge from infinity to that C point, the work done will be one by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R2 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 by R3, that is the total potential of C point into Q3 charge. Clear? So this will be the value of Q1 Q3 by 4 pi epsilon naught R2 plus Q2 Q3 by 4 pi epsilon naught into R3, and this will be the total amount of work done to bring the Q3 charge from infinity to that particular point, which is at a distance of R2 from Q1 charge and R3 from Q2 charge. To configure the total system, the total amount of work done that has been performed will be nothing but W1 plus W2 plus W3. As we know, W1 is 0 and W2 is nothing but the 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R1, and W3 is nothing but this total amount. So if we common it 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, then we will get Q1 Q2 by R1 plus Q1 Q3 by R2 plus Q2 Q3 by R3, and this will be the total potential energy of the system, which has been equal with the total amount of work done performed to construct the total system. Clear? So end of the day, this is the end of the theoretical portion of electric potential and electric potential energy. I will upload the numerical problems issued on the total topic and will give you the assignment. Stay home, stay safe.